Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about JSON or JavaScript object notation in Python. I really like JSON, saving my data in JSON more like, because of how accessible it is to different programs. I can open it in Node.js, I can open it in Java, I can open it in Python, and I can even just send it to HTML with XML requests. But so what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and open our Windows Visual Studio Code and open a folder. So as long as you have your folder open, we're going to go ahead and make a new file. We're going to call it test.py for now. And then as long as you have mknxg and essentials downloaded, we can go ahead and use this. If not, look at my video on how to download my module for your Python use. So from here, we're going to go to from essentials import cdn. All right, now cdn.cdn download, and this is also going to be in the description here, so that way you can just copy and paste it, not have to worry about any typos or anything like that. It's going to be JSON underscore tutorial. Okay, now right click and run Python file in terminal right here. And then you're going to see it's downloading all of this files, and then now we have this new popped up folder right here, just like magic. Okay, so now we have multiple files in JSON format and in Python format. So we no longer need this test file. You can keep it there if you want. I actually am, but I'm just going to empty it. We're just going to use these files over here. So let's click on list.json. So as you can see, it looks extremely familiar to Python lists because it is extremely familiar. They pretty much are almost the same exact thing. You see here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items in this list, and they're covered in these square brackets, which is how you orient a list in JavaScript object notation files. So if you go to the list underscore example and right click that, you see each item in that list being printed down here. So let's go ahead and dive into what this example has. So we see import essentials, which is the module I created, and time. Time is made for putting pauses into a Python script. Like let's say you want to wait for 5 seconds before you do something, you'd use time to do that. So then list data is a variable we see here, and it uses essential read JSON. This is a function that I've implanted into the module essentials, so that way we can actually use JSON files. So it says JSON slash list.json. So that actually opens this file right here and imports that data into Python for us. So then we can see what we're actually importing by printing this out. So as you see, it printed the whole list right in for us. So instead of writing this in Python, which would be the same exact thing, and you can see here it's the same exact thing, we can just have it in a file that we can save. And the reason you do this is so that you can save it, and if you have a large amount of data, you don't want all of that list ruining your code and like disrupting the readability, especially if this thing changes. If you have a machine that needs a JSON list that changes over time, if that machine gets unplugged and that JSON list is only in the code, you could lose a serious amount of data. So it's a lot easier to keep the list in JSON saved in a file. And then we have for item in list data. So that means go through the whole entire list. If we looked at this list right here, let me go ahead and paste it up here so we can see. You see there's 6 items here, but a good thing to keep in mind with list in Python is the way that they are oriented. As you can see, you're probably questioning why is there only 5 of these positions, but it's because I started at 0. It is important to note that with Python and most other programming languages, lists start at 0 and then go on forward. So there isn't 6 items in this list, there's only 5. 5 positions more like, starting at 0. So go through each item in this list and print what it is, and then wait 0.5 seconds, which gives us this little pause before it prints the next item. Okay, so let's go ahead and clear that. If you were wondering what I'm typing in right there, I'm just typing in clear. Let me go ahead and zoom in on that. Okay, so if you're wondering what I was typing in here to make this just clear out, I'm just typing in literal, just the word clear, and it'll clear the whole thing out for you. Or you can type in CLS, either one works. But I use clear because this also works in Linux, and I use Linux quite a bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at another file. We can go ahead and open up dict.json, for short for dictionary. Dictionaries in JSON use these little curly brackets here, and then they are oriented in key value pairs. So this is a pair, this is a pair, and this is a pair, and so on. So as you can see here, so the key would be name and the value would be mark. So if we go ahead and open up this dict example here, we can see that we import essentials just like before and import time. However, we named our the data inside of this file person. So now we can go ahead and right click it and run it in terminal, and we see that we're getting Mark. He's 20, just like in here. He works at MKNXGN, and his bio is that he likes to program, and that's all in this file here. So again, we read the JSON file and imported it into a variable, and then we started printing each key pair values. Let's go ahead and look at the next example here, which is data. So in the data example, we have a dictionary with key pair values, and the key pair value has a list involved in it. And then we also have another dictionary with key pair values. So if we run the data example, you can see that we're opening the file and importing it into Python, and then we're splitting it into 2 other variables, which is clients and settings, which are right here. So if we ran this file in the terminal, we'd see Mark, Joe, Jeff, and Logan, and then we can also see the application settings. I put this in here so that you can see the versatility of key pair values and JSON files. You can save different amounts of data like strings, bools, bool being true or false, integers, floats. You could save virtually any variable in a dictionary in JSON files. So in here we have the loading of the file, we split into a variable data clients, which would be this whole entire library right here. And then we have data settings, which is right here. So then we continue and we say for person, so for each of these items in this list of dictionaries, print their name, their age, and where they live, and then wait 0.5 seconds before we print the next person. And then we wait 1 second, and then for each setting in settings, which would be right here, we're going to go ahead and print the name of the setting, which would be the key, and then since the way we orient key pairs in Python, we need to say to in this dictionary, use this key to get the value, and then wait 0.5 seconds before we print the next value. So go ahead and click on the right example. As you can see, when it opens, you have data, which is a variable, and then it's a dictionary. We have the keys, name, age, and hobby. Right-click that and click Run in Terminal, Run Python file in Terminal, and it's going to ask you your name. You can type in anything, Joe, 55, soccer. And then once that's done, if you look on your left, you'll see a new file that says My Data, and it's JSON formatted. All of your answers are in this file. So you guys can go ahead and experiment with this tutorial. This is just a quick 5 burst on JavaScript object notation, because I will use that later on in other tutorials.